Hello and welcome to RenderCore. Today we are starting a brand new project in Unreal Engine, where we will be building a complete landscape from scratch. I'll begin by importing the helicopter I modeled just a few days ago in Blender, and then we will add the essentials to bring our world to life, like lighting, the sun and the landscape to build upon. This is just the beginning, so if you are into Unreal, Blender, or simply want to see the process of creating a virtual world, stick around. And of course, if you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so we can grow and learn together. Alright, first make sure you have selected every single part of your model. You can also just hit A to select all, then Shift plus click to deselect anything you don't need. Now go to export, select that as FBX, then make sure you check selected objects. Also make sure to apply transform. Check apply transform. This one resets the scale, rotation and location of your object, preventing any strange glitches in Unreal. Always do this. Now one last warning: if you are exporting a character with a rig or maybe an object like this one, you will see an option called apply lift bones. Do not check this box. Perfect, let's jump into Unreal Engine. We are going to create a new project, and for this workflow we will choose the games category and then the blank template. This template is the most flexible option, giving us a clean slate to build from scratch. Now we have a choice between blueprints or C++. I would recommend starting with blueprints. It's perfect for a rapid prototyping, and you can always add a C++ class later if you need to. You are not locked in. Now for this project, let's also tick the box for starter content. This gives us a basic set of materials, shapes and other assets that are incredibly useful for testing and quick prototyping. Finally, give your project a name and choose a save location. Then hit create. Yeah, Unreal will set everything up for you. Now we're ready to bring in our helicopter. Alright, our project has loaded. You will notice Unreal gives us a default scene with a sky, a landscape and a few other components. While these are great for a quick start, we want to build our scene from scratch. So let's delete them. In the outliner panel on the right, you can simply check each of these elements, like directional light, sky, atmosphere, volumetric cloud and the landscape itself, and once you have them selected, just hit the delete key on your keyboard. This gives us a completely empty scene. Now we can start fresh and build our own custom environment exactly the way we want it, beginning with importing our helicopter. The first thing we want to do is keep our project organized. So down here in the content browser, right click and create a new folder. Let's call it assets or helicopter. This will make it easy to find all our related files later on. Once that folder is created, go ahead and double click it to open it up. Now we can click on import and browse to your file. When you do this, an FBX import option window will pop up. For our basic assets, you can leave almost all of these settings at their default values. Unreal Engine is smart enough to handle the essential conversion. Just hit the import button. Now you will see a few new assets created in our folder. The most important one is the skeletal mesh. This is the 3D model of our helicopter, and because it has a skeleton attached, it can be animated, which is perfect for a helicopter's rotors. You will also see a physics asset, which Unreal uses to handle physics and collision, and one or more animation sequences, which contain all the animation data from Blender, like the spinning of the rotors. We also have the materials and the textures, which Unreal automatically generates to handle the colors and surfaces of our model. This is a great starting point for us to refine later. Alright, our scene is empty, so let's start by building a beautiful sky. we are going to use a few key components to make it all work together. A sky atmosphere, a directional light, a skylight, some exponential fog, and finally volumetric clouds. These 5 elements are the foundation of our environment. Now let's go over them and start with a sky atmosphere. So over here on the left in the place actors panel, just search for sky and drag the sky atmosphere actor in your scene. The moment you place it, you will see nothing because we need light. That's because this actor simulates the scattering and absorption of light in the atmosphere, giving the sky its realistic colors. It works in tandem with our sun, which we will add next. So let's add directional light. Think of it as the sun in our scene. It casts rays of light that are perfectly parallel, which is what creates those sharp, defined shadows we see in the real world. Unlike a point light, which shines in all directions from a single spot, the directional light's angle is what matters, defining the time of the day and the direction of your shadows. Now, you will immediately see it interact with our sky atmosphere, creating a beautiful daylight effect. If you select it and rotate it, you can see how the time of the day changes and how the shadows shifts across your landscape. In the details panel, you can also adjust the light color and intensity, but for now the rotation is what's most important for defining the look and feel of your scene. Now, what if you wanted to have two suns, maybe for a sci-fi planet or a moon that casts its own light? If you just drag in a second directional light, you will notice something strange. The sky and the clouds won't change, and it won't seem to affect the atmosphere. That's because the sky atmosphere actor is set up to only work with one directional light at a time by default. The solution is simple. Select your main directional light, and in its detail panel you will see a property called atmospheric sunlight index, which is set to 0. This tells the sky atmosphere that this is its primary light source. To make our second light also affect the sky, just select it and change its atmospheric sunlight index to 1. Now both lights will interact with the sun atmosphere and cast shadows, allowing you to create more dynamic and unique lighting setups. It's a great way to add complexity to your environment. Finally, let's talk about mobility. This is a crucial setting for all lights in Unreal Engine. We have static, stationary and movable. Static is for lights that will never move. Their shadows are pre-calculated and baked into the scene, which gives you the best performance. Stationary, it's a great compromise. The light's position is fixed, but it can change color or intensity, and it combines baked shadows with some dynamic elements. And there is movable. This is what we will use from now. It allows the light to be fully dynamic, moving and rotating freely, with all shadows updated in real time. While is the most performance intensive, it's what we need to demonstrate dynamic time of the day. Let's rename those directional lights with Sun 2 and Sun 1. Now, let's add the skylight. While the directional light acts as our sun, the skylight is what captures the overall appearance of the sky and bounces that light back into our scene. It works like a giant dome, capturing the colors and intensity of our sky atmosphere and casting a soft ambient light on our objects. This is what fills in the harsh shadows cast by the sun, giving everything a much more realistic feel. Also, in the details panel, make sure to set its mobility to movable. Since our sky is dynamic and our sun is going to be rotating, we need the skylight to update in real time. The movable setting allows it to recapture the sky every time the light changes, ensuring our ambient lighting is always accurate. The next component to add is the exponential fade fog. This sector is essential for adding a sense of atmosphere and depth to your scene, especially over long distances. In the real world, the air isn't perfectly clear. It has a moisture and dust and give it a certain haziness, which makes distant objects appear less distinct. The exponential height fog replicates this effect beautifully. In the details panel, you will see a few key properties you can adjust. The most important is fog density. This controls how thick or opaque the fog is. If you increase this value, the fog will become much denser. The other critical property is fog height falloff. This determines how quickly the fog dissipates as you move higher off the ground. A lower value will create a more gradual transition, while a higher value creates a sharper, more defined layer of fog. You can play with these properties. Exponential height fog is also a crucial part of our volumetric light setup. By default, it works with our directional light to create volumetric fog. And our final component is the volumetric clouds. These aren't just a flat texture, they are full 3D volume that you can fly through, making them incredibly realistic. Just like before, find them in the play sector panel and drag them into your scene. What makes them so powerful is that they are fully dynamic. They are built to work with our directional light and sky atmosphere. So as you rotate the sun, the clouds will instantly cast realistic shadows onto the ground and change color to match the time of the day. This is the last step to creating a truly living, breathing. And now that we have our sky, we are going to create a landscape for our helicopter to fly over and land on. You can press Shift 2 and the editor will change to the landscape mode. You will see the Create tab is selected by default. Here you will set the dimensions of your world. You can choose section size and the number of components to get a total size. I will choose 32 by 32. And you can also assign a basic material to your landscape if you have one prepared. Once you are happy with the settings, you can simply hit create. With our landscape created, the first tool we will use is sculpt. This is our primary way to raise or lower the terrain, and it feels a lot like a digital clay. As you move your mouse over the grid, you will see a brush. You can adjust the brush size, which control how big an area you are affecting at once. When you click and drag, the landscape will start to rise. Below that, you will find the strength slider. This determines how much force your brush applies. A high value will raise the terrain very quickly, while a low value gives you a much more subtle, precise control. Another essential tool is flatten. The flatten tool is great for creating a perfect plateaus or roads at a consistent height. We are not using this now, but you just hold down Ctrl and click on a point on the landscape to sample its height. Now, when you brush over the other areas, they will be raised or lowered to match that specific height, creating a perfectly flat area. You also have another useful tool like Smooth, which will soften and harsh peaks and valleys and erosion, which adds a natural look to the terrain. Now that we know the basics, also don't forget you can press Ctrl to invert the brush type. Now that we know the basics, I will spend a few minutes sculpting the terrain, and I will speed up the video so you can see the process in action. I will start by sculpting the edges of our landscape. The goal is to raise the borders into a surrounding mountain range, making our world feel more complete and contained. Now that we have the basic shape of our world, let's make it look more realistic. First, let's talk about materials. You might think you need paid assets, or you may have heard that Quixel Bridge isn't free anymore. Well, I have some good news for you. Quixel Bridge is still completely free to use with Unreal. It's a fantastic resource for high quality assets, but there are also other great free options out there. My personal favorite is Polyheaven. They offer a huge library of free assets, including PBR materials that are perfect for our landscape. You can simply download the different texture maps like albedo, normal, roughness, and so on, and then import them into Unreal. We will talk about this later. Before we add those materials, let's do a quick reality check. Our landscape is massive, but it's hard to tell without a point of reference, so let's add a simple object to our world, like a chair, and just drag it into your scene. See how small it looks? This really gives you a sense of just how large our world is. Now, let's talk about organizing our project. As we add more and more elements, our scene can get messy. A good project is an organized project. So let's start by organizing our sky components in the outliner. On the right, hold down Ctrl and select sky atmosphere, directional lights, skylight, exponential heat fog, and volumetric clouds. Once they are all selected, right click and create a folder. Let's name it atmosphere or maybe sky. Anyway, now our scene looks a lot cleaner. Also, let's create a folder for our landscape called landscape, and after that let's make a folder assets for our chair or any object that we will. Finally, let's get our key elements into a single location. Select your new sky folder and our chair model over in the details panel if you want to select the chair model, and under transform you can see the location values. For each of these, let's change the X position to 0. This will bring them all to the same location, same vertical line, making it much easier to manage them and ensure that they are centrally located into our scene. It's a small change, but it's a best practice that will save you a ton of time down the road. Alright, now with our base landscape sculpted, it's time to start thinking about the details. This isn't just about random hills and valleys, it's about creating a believable world with a sense of natural flow. I'm looking at our terrain now and deciding where things should go. For example, a river would naturally form in the lowest part of the landscape, carving a path through the valleys we sculpted, and the forest will grow on the flatter areas or the gentler slopes of the hills, maybe with a few scattered trees on the mountain tops. By planning where these key elements will go, we are giving our world a sense of purpose and logic. Our mountains now have a reason for existing, and our valleys are ready to be filled with life.
I'm gonna get back when I feel like it's personal.
Back when I feel like
It's personal. I'm gonna get back when I feel like it's personal.
back when I feel like
It's personal. I'm gonna get back when I feel like you know I don't play right. I'll put up a good fight. Just give me the word. You know I don't play.
And there you have it, it's a custom world ready for a story. The tools we used are just the beginning, the real power is in your hands. I encourage you to use your imagination, experiment and create a world that's truly yours. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Next time we will dive into adding materials to our landscape and populating our world with grass and trees. See you then.
Just give me the word. You know I don't play right.